Technology partner. This day started with BYU's women's team getting a victory. It was followed up by the third-ranked men's volleyball team sweeping Penn State. And tonight, to complete our hat trick, it is BYU and Portland. All here on BYU TV, and the Pilots control the tip. Chase Adams is 5'7", a freshman out of Chicago, full of speed. He will run these Pilots tonight. He's got the ball right here.
Well, and he has had a major impact. And early on, maybe a little bit of nerves. I think Tryon zigged when Adams thought he was going to zag, and they have an unforced turnover. Those don't kill you early in a ball game because BYU doesn't get a run out and an easy transition bucket. You have a chance to set your D, but that looked like a nerves turnover to me.
Speaking of the zags, these Pilots led by 7 against Gonzaga at home a week and a half ago, and the Zags pulled away in the second half as TJ Haws knocks down his first shot.
And Haws picking up where he left off. He carried BYU down the stretch, as we mentioned in our open, 29 points in that game. But he can do whatever he needs to do. In that Weber State game, they needed him to assist. He had 10 assists in that.
Open from the baseline. Too strong is Tryon. BYU losing 87-84 in overtime at St. Mary's. Cougars were cold from the field, especially in that first half, especially Haws and Toulson. Here's TJ up for 3. He started hot tonight, 2 for 2 from the field, 5 points for Haws.
And remember, in that St. Mary's game, BYU's guards didn't shoot it well early on, and Haws was missing shots to start, but down the stretch he didn't miss. And so the percentage ended up being good overall. In this one, he starts with a hot hand right out of the chute.
Diabate with the left hand. Lee, good defense, and he clears out the rebound. Barcelo, here's Nixon up for 3. He's got it in there. Dalton Nixon hitting 41% from the three-point line. BYU is 7th in the country shooting the threes, and they lead it 8-0.
Well, and Dalton Nixon really worked on his three-point game in the offseason. It's paid off in a big, big way. Much improved three-point shooter.
Here comes Toulson. Out ahead to Dalton. And Portland is up against the ropes in the opening round. BYU 4 for 4. Are they not happy to be home?
Man, and how about that pass on the transition bucket? But let's go back and look at the 3 first. And it comes because of a great Jake Toulson pass. Penetrates and dishes. Now watch Jake Toulson with another assist. How good was that pass? He put backspin it on the ball so that it would rise up and be easy to catch for Dalton Nixon. How good was that?
You saw a couple of threes there for each three-pointer BYU makes this season. Mountain America Credit Union will donate $50 to the American Red Cross. Haws with 5 points. He needs 1 more to pass Brandon Davies into 14th all-time. Kyle Collinsworth's next on the list at number 12.
He's just checking them off. Checking them off. Somebody's in sight every game.
Yoli's at 9, and Haws is now 75 points behind Yoli.
Yeah, that's another reason why Yoli's working that finger and trying to get back.
That's right. Suddenly that finger's feeling a little bit better. It's 10-0.
Now for the Pilots, they need to be patient here. Can't get in a panic and rush shots. They need to get a good shot here. And a 3 might be a good shot, but they're really good when they go inside out. Get it into the post.
Working on Lee, fights, puts up an air ball. Haws on the rebound. Here's Barcelo. TJ, Colby Lee, and Lee's got it in. 5 for 5 to start the night. Colby Lee with a solid game Thursday, 9 points and 6 rebounds against St. Mary's big men.
Well, and a really nice assist that time by Haws on the play.
3-point shot by Tryon. Diabate on the board, and he's swatted by Haws. Walker, Akumba, and Farabee all in now for Portland. Try and get some new blood out on the floor.
Haws he's always competitive out on the floor, but it just seems like he's playing with a chip on his shoulder, like he's playing with a bit of an edge in this ball game to come out.
From the baseline, that one rattles out. Fight for the rebound, and it is Nixon. Portland 0 for 6 from the field. a nightmare start for the Pilots, who come in shooting pretty good. Nixon draws contact and gets the shot to go down. And the streak continues. 7 points for Nixon.
I'll tell you what, this is another assist for Jake Toolson. And he has been all over the place and getting the basketball to his teammates in great spots. And how about the start for Dalton Nixon? He's got a 3. He's got a breakaway dunk where he's running the lane and beat everybody down the floor. And now he has a physical finish and a 3-point play the old-fashioned way.
And BYU is yet to miss a shot. Theo Akumba is into the game along with LeVar Harewood. 15-0 BYU.
Portland desperately needs a make, if for no other reason than not give BYU transition opportunity.
Long ways away from the basket. Here's an open look from the corner. That one's off. Another offensive board. Fresh shot clock. Charging into the lane. They still can't get it to go. JoJo Walker. Shot rims out. Here's Haas. Heat check for 3. This place would have gone bananas had that one gone down.
And the first miss in the ball game for BYU. And Akuba secures the board, and now on the other end, rewarded with an easy bucket with the assist. Defensive play, rebound, and then a point on the other end for Akuba.
Akuba, 6'11" sophomore out of Montgomery, Alabama. 15-2. Now it's Toolson. He's up for 3. Jake Toolson and TJ Haas combined for 23 missed shots Thursday night, even though they're the 2 high-point men for BYU on the floor. And they have come in dialed in their return to the Marriott Center.
And we always say, hey, defense leads to offense. This has been the case in this ballgame for BYU. They have played inspired defense so far in the ballgame, and has led to a lot of transition and early offense opportunities for BYU. Playing in rhythm, playing on attack.
Nixon knocks the ball out of bounds. BYU 7 for 8 from the field. Dalton Nixon on fire. It's 18-2. Welcome back to the Marriott Center. 18-2. BYU with the early lead over Portland. Jerem Jordan called the play-by-play of the men's volleyball game earlier on BYU TV. He has made it up from the Smith Fieldhouse and ready to go to work. Jerem.
It's great to be in the Marriott Center. It came up. The traffic was crazy. Great to be here. What a start from BYU. And in regards to the loss at St. Mary's, that was certainly a game that in years past felt like BYU had to get to stay in the NCAA tournament conversation. Not so. After BYU lost, BYU actually went up in ESPN's Basketball Power Index. Only slid a spot or 2 in most of the metrics that the NCAA tournament uses regarding the tournament. Now BYU sits in a position where they probably can't afford, say, a loss to a Portland tonight. Great start. But BYU in a good spot with what they did in non-conference play, and many of those wins, as you know, guys, came without Yoli Child, so they're back to square one there.
Thank you, Jerem. It's good to have you up here with us.
Well, and I will say this,
coming out of the timeout.
Now the 3rd turnover for Portland. I'll say this, I'm not one that says, hey, moral victory. I don't believe in moral victories, but I do believe there are losses that you go, you know what, I'm okay with that loss. I'm okay with a loss on the road in overtime to St. Mary's without Yoli Childs. That's not one that's going to hurt BYU in the big picture.
Zach Sellius is into the game and misses the layup. Sellius has had some trouble at the rim this week. Second miss.
Portland just
here in the half for BYU.
Portland just 1 for 9 now. Make it 1 for 10.
Battle inside, and Akuba is fouled. It'll go against Sellius. It'll be his first.
And his foul trying to gather that rebound. It was either going to be a foul or a 4th offensive board. And the one bright spot that I can find on the stat sheet for the Pilots right now is that they got 3 offensive boards, and they're going to continue to need to do that. They got to start making some shots, and everything seems rushed so far in this game.
Quick 3 by White.
And credit BYU's defense. They're playing great defense, and it's making the Pilots rush.
Sellius, a quick 3 on the BYU end. His first bucket of the night. It's 21-2. Seljaas, another Cougar, who's hitting 32% of his three-point shots. Part of that barrage of gunslingers that we have not seen for a long time here for BYU. Zach has 154 threes, Jake has 163, and TJ has 214. Out ahead, Nixon. Back to Seljaas for another three. Zach with 6 back-to-back threes and another timeout for Terry Porter and the Pilots. 24-2 for BYU. Seljaas off the bench, drops in 2 quick threes.
And sometimes when you get the mojo going, everybody gets in on the game, and everybody's mojo is going. Seljaas, these are both transition threes, and BYU's so good when they run the lanes of spotting up on that three-point line. When you're in transition D against BYU, you got to find the shooters, and you can't just run back to the paint and then try to scatter and close out to the shooters. You actually have to find them and plaster them on your way down the court.
These two teams come in, BYU number 2 in the league in three-point shooting. They're number 1 in defending the three. Portland's number 3 in shooting and number 2 in defending. But so far, it's been a totally one-sided affair.
And for BYU, I'll go back to what we said not that long ago. It's if I'm going to put my finger on what is going on, it's the intensity with which BYU is playing defense in this ball game that is making the difference for them. That they have come out locked in defensively. The communication is great. They're switching and they're doubling when they need to double, and they've been really good with the rotations. And then when they are getting out in transition, they're sharing the basketball. They're finding the open guy. The result of that is 8 assists on 9 made field goals. That's a phenomenal ratio. And when you're playing like that, you're unselfish, you're dialed in on D, you're unselfish on offense, man, everybody feels good about what you're doing on the floor, and that's what BYU's doing right now.
If we wondered how they would respond to a heartbreaking loss on Thursday night, they have answered that with some authority.
And now the question is, can they keep this intensity? And boy, what a much-needed shot.
JoJo Walker.
Yeah, Walker on the drive, off the contact, muscles it in, and boy, Pilots needed something at that point, and he takes him one-on-one.
Toulson to answer with the 3. And it is Akuba on the rebound. Walker had 10 against the Cougars here last year. Scored 19 last Saturday against San Francisco. They've had all week to get ready for BYU, and we asked Terry Porter, well, midweek you found out that Yoli Childs wasn't going to be playing. How did that affect your strategy? And they said, we prepared for him all week. He said, I've been around this game long enough that I don't know if he's hurt or not, but they went all week getting ready for him. And then tonight they saw him come out in street clothes, and that was that. But they've had a full week to get ready for this one, but they have been overwhelmed out of the gate by red-hot shooting.
Well, it'll be interesting to see, can BYU maintain this kind of intensity defensively for a full game?
Here's a foul. It's going to send Harewood to the free throw line. It's on Seljaas. Seljaas was arguing for a flop on Harewood, but he's going to get 3 free throws.
Well, and he's just trying to close out. You're going to watch. He's going to leave his feet on the closeout, and he's going to come down, and he's going to clip the leg. And it's a good call. It was the right call, and now Harewood's going to get 3 free throws.
He's 83% on the year. Very comfortable at the line. A little more on TJ Haws, 119th consecutive start tonight. That ties him with Fred Roberts for number 2 in school history. He can pass Jeff Chapman on January 25th at San Francisco. Chapman's got 122 consecutive starts. Tonight, 119 for TJ. 2 of 3, and Nixon on the rebound. 24-6, BYU. Cougars are home Thursday night against San Diego right here on BYU TV. 1 week from tonight, they are in Spokane against number 1 ranked Gonzaga. Toulson flips it up. Jake with a couple of consecutive misses. Farrenby passing on the 3 and settling for down low. And it is Akuba who finishes at the rim.
Hey, I'll tell you what, Akuba, smart move. He had jumped up and the ball came a little late. Instead of just trying to make the shot off balance, he came down with it, gathered himself, and finished.
Nixon. Offensive board. Swatted by Akuba. And Walker's got it.
And Akuba is a long, athletic guy out there.
Up for three. Portland trying to get something to go, and there's Akuba over the back of Nixon. And he picks up his second foul.
Watch this block. And Nixon, who is fearless down there, and Akuba with good timing, he gets great elevation.
How about Akuba? He speaks 5 languages. Well, check that. Diabate with the 5 languages. Akuba missed some games like Yoli, but he was out the first 9 games working on his grades. Last year's starter got eligible, and at 6'11", he's got a big opportunity to play a role on this team. Connor Harding's up for his first 3 of the night. Harding's got that brace on his right knee, dealing with a bone bruise. Didn't even take a shot Thursday night.
Well, and Terry Porter looked out at his defense and out to his guards and said, wait a minute here, that's one of the guys on the scout that you don't leave to help, and you left him wide open. And so they got to get on the right page defensively.
Tryon working Lee. Good looking touch from the 6'11" junior out of Temecula, California. His first 2 tonight.
Well, and some production out of the post for the Pilots would really help get some better looks from the outside if they play inside out.
Toulson. He's now missed his last 3 shots, but he gets a foul here. He'll be at the line when we come back. 11:21 to go here in the first half. A 17-point advantage for BYU, trying to get to 13-5 on the season. Back with more in a moment on BYU TV. Marriott Center inside, everything has been falling for BYU. They lead at 27-10. Blaine, they've outscored the Pilots 18-0 from the 3-point line.
Well, they're getting 3-pointers in 2 different ways. They're getting the penetrate and kick type. This is Toulson penetrating in. You draw the defense. Now you kick it out to Tyler Haws, and you see the space that he has squared up to knock it down. The other way they're getting him is they're spotting up in transition. So here's Nixon in the middle on the break, and he gets it out to the trailer. Zach Sellius is running trail. He's out in that right wing. He spots up, and Nixon finds him. And Terry Porter, when we talked to him today, he said, man, BYU is very good in finding the shooters in transition. You got to know where those guys on the wings are and get out and cover those guys because they love to shoot that transition 3.
Toulson's at the line. He's shooting 2. And on the season, Jake's 86% from the free throw line, the best on the team. We go over his stats every week as they continue to impress. Number 1 in scoring, 3-point shots made, rebounding, minutes played, and most free throws made on this roster. Vital role for Jake Toulson.
Yeah, remember Jeff Chapman gave us that term as we watched White, great flash into the middle, the key and elevation over the top.
That's his first 2.
Jeff Chapman used to call Collinsworth. He said, well, he's a stat sheet stuffer. And now Toulson out there is the exact same thing. He's a stat sheet stuffer.
Colby Lee, beautiful pass by Haws, who's inching closer to passing his dad on the all-time list. He needs 3 more to move past Marty.
And by the way, Chapman told me that if I use his term, I have to footnote him, so that's why I had to do that. Now we're free to use that anytime we want the rest of the game.
Nice, it feels good.
Let's watch this assist. You run the pick and roll, that's how you do it. And Colby Lee does a great job. And Colby Lee's capable to pick and pop, too. You think the big guy can't shoot from range. He'll come off and flare, and you just kick the ball to him. He'll pop, and he'll knock down a 3 for you.
How about TJ? That was career assist number 500. And we've got a whistle, and the Pilots keep possession. We had a kick ball there, Jerem.
We talked with Mark Pope earlier in the day, guys, about the mentality coming into this game after the loss to St. Mary's. Certainly BYU on edge, high alert, given the loss to St. Mary's, given where they're at in the NCAA tournament. Mark Pope said, everyone wants to be a Lion, but no one wants to do the stuff a Lion has to do. BYU certainly doing what the Lion has to do in the start of this game, knowing, hey, they've got to beat Portland and teams like them in the WCC.
Good point, thank you. Tryon hits a 3.
If a Lion wants to eat, he's got to get up and work every day, right?
Isn't that how that goes? The Lion has to do a lot of things.
But wait a minute, if I'm right, don't the female lions do all the work?
I think so.
And the male lions lay around?
I think so, but somehow they're king of...
Yeah, they're still king. They're still the king. Although I think maybe they should work like a Siberian tiger. I don't know.
The important thing is we all understand The point.
The point is
Jerem.
they got to get up and work every day and play with a sense of urgency.
Farabee all the way to the rim, off the glass, and it's 31-17.
And Portland's now settled in and understanding what they can do offensively. They're out of that panic mode.
Look at Lee backing in. Very comfortable down low. Colby Lee was 6 tonight.
Well, that's right over the top of Jacob Tryon, who's 6'11".
Colby's role once again has been amped up with the injury to Yoli. Give and go. Tryon. Offensive foul. In position. Who else but Dalton Nixon?
Yeah, Dalton Nixon does the best job on this BYU team of coming over to help, getting in great position, and taking a charge. And you got to be a tough guy to take the kind of charges he does. And he gets there, stays straight, goes vertical, and cuts Tryon off.
5 turnovers for the Pilots, just 1 for BYU. TJ back to Barcelo. Barcelo's first shot of the night. And Malcolm Porter, the son of the head coach, on the rebound. We're talking about the perks of coaching your son. He said it's one of the greatest things and one of the hardest things to do. Talking about Terry Porter as Tryon now with 7 points.
Yeah, I asked him, when it's all said and done, would you go back and do it again? He said, oh, absolutely. I get to be with my son every day at practice, and who gets to do that? He gets to watch them live their dreams as Nixon attacks. Watch his boys live their dream and play Division I basketball. And he says, but it takes away some of my opportunity to do things that Dad gets to do. He says, for instance, he can't call me on his way home from practice and say, Dad, you're not going to believe what Coach said today. And Coach is doing this or Coach is doing that, because he is Coach. So he's not allowed to complain to his dad about the coach. But he said there's a little bit of pressure. And then we asked Terry, what about your wife? Is she still helping with the coaching? And when you get home, do you get in trouble if you don't handle Malcolm right? And he said, home? As soon as we get in the car. She closes the door and says, why did you take him out? He was hot right at that point.
Second foul on Tryon. Nixon misses them both. Yeah, Terry told us, he said, his wife told him how to play and she tells him how to coach. So, Susie, there you go. Shout out to you.
Yeah, but what a great opportunity. You can certainly tell that Terry has relished the opportunity to be with Malcolm every day.
Pilots have fought their way back to 14 down. Here's Porter with the shot, and he drops it in. Malcolm Porter with his first 2.
Well, and Porter has really improved his game this offseason. He's averaging 9.8 points a game, and he's shooting threes at a almost 38% clip, 43% from the field.
Nixon throws it away. Second turnover for the Cougars.
Inside out for the Pilots this time, and as BYU's trying to close on him as a shooter, puts the ball on the floor, and you got to like that little floater.
Pilots have 9 wins already. That's 2 more than they had all last season. And Terry says he got a good vibe with his team. Right now they're trying to show enough fight to get back in this. Rainbow 3 is off. Walker on the miss, Lee on the rebound. Now Toulson into the lane, corner kick. Here's Barcelo, open for 3. And that one off the front end. Barcelo missed a big 3-pointer in overtime on Thursday night. Could have given the Cougars a 1-point lead late. And he misses there. Portland on a 19-9 run, trying to fight back in it. BYU started the game making 9 of their first 11 shots to build their big lead, and they've done it with distribution.
Got 10 assists on 12 made field goals, and they did a really good job of finding the open shooter, whether it's on the perimeter or inside, as we see TJ Haws giving it up to Colby Lee, and then the give and go to Nixon. He got a 3-point play on this play in transition. Nixon again, he's gonna find the shooter. The trailer is Zach Sellius as he knocks down the 3. And BYU's done a great job of reading the D and then giving it to a player who has a good opportunity. So 12 makes on 10 assists is good. Now for the Pilots, they just won the last 4 minutes. And Terry Porter and his staff, when you go out and you lose the first 4 minutes of a game so dramatically, you tell your guys, hey, listen, you're not going to win this game in the next 4, but you know what? How about you win the next 4 minutes, then we'll get a timeout. Then you win the next 4 minutes after that. They're on a 19-9 run right now. They dominated the last 4 minutes, and they get a good start here to this 4. And the reason you talk about 4 minutes is because that's the television timeouts or the timeout breaks come every 4 minutes in the half of a game. And I like the way the Pilots are approaching this.
They've made their last 7 shots from the field. Double team for Toolson. Now it's Nixon. 7 minutes to go here in the first half. Shot clock is at 6. Barcelo is fouled, trying to get past Walker. And Walker will pick up the personal, his first.
Well, that was a big time 3 on the last one, a step back 3.
White is 37% on the year.
That right toe looked like it was on the line on that one.
Maybe he'll check it later. Barcelo knocks down his first shot of the night.
And this was a 2 inside that arc, but a beautiful pull-up mid-ranger.
Alex Barcelo, the transfer from Arizona. He comes in, he's hitting 41% of his three-point shots. This is a very good three-point shooting team, and Mark Pope told us, hey, the three-point line will always be important to us. Number 1, and then it's down low. That's number 2, as you see Alex make his move.
Again, a good read. He had a ball screen set up for him at the top, faked as if he was going to use that ball screen, got the defender off balance, and then went to his right for a pull-up.
First foul on Barcelo. Haas back in the game for the Cougars. Diabate, left hand, in and out.
Well, that's the shot. That's the shot they want, but those need to fall. And that Terry Porter will take that shot from his team all day long.
Harding in the corner. Leaves it for Barcelo. Had to adjust mid-flight, and Alex now with 4.
Well, and the ball went down into the corner to the wing, and Barcelo with a hard cut to the basket.
Adams back in the game. Here's White over to Adams. 3 from the right side is Porter. Harding cleans the glass. TJ Haas needs 1 more assist to pass his dad. The all-time record at BYU. Is this it? Yes! So he moves up to number 6 ahead of his dad, Marty. They were tied until that assist. Jimmer Fredette's next on that list for TJ.
The names that both he and Yoli Childs are chasing are big-time names.
They can work that out over dinner on Sunday. Here's Toolson. Step back 3, too strong. Harding on the rebound. Fresh shot clock, and they're going to reset it at 20. Now 18 seconds, so the shot clock did not reset on the miss, so they'll fix that as we take another look at Barcelo.
Moving without the basketball, then TJ Haas with the drive and kick, and this penetrating kick has been really good to BYU in this game, forcing the Pilots to help defensively, and when they get into those rotations, BYU's done an excellent job of finding the open man.
Toolson, shot clock is at 5. Jake trying to feed Lee, finally does get it to him, and Colby's fouled with 3 seconds on the shot clock, and the big fella will go to the free throw line.
Well, and the Pilots, they had him in a good position. He was under the backboard. If they just stay on the ground and put their hands straight up, he has no chance to make that shot, but put the hands over the top of the shooter and bail Colby Lee out on that one.
White gets his first foul. Lee is a 65% free throw shooter, a 66% three-point shooter. So maybe he just needs to back up.
If he can just jump, it's better. Maybe he should shoot a jump shot from there.
Just back it up. Trevin Nell into the game for the first time as Toolson goes to the bench. 4:52 to go here in the first half. Jerem will visit with Mark Pope at the break. 7 points for Colby Lee. JoJo Walker trying to shake Barcelo. Slashing to the basket, Diabate. He's had trouble at the rim so far tonight. Colby Lee blocked by Diabate. Back we come the other way. Porter knocked away. And now here come the Cougars. Harding open for three from the corner. And Adams brings it out.
And I love the hustle on that last exchange. First of all, Diabate just running to get back on D the way he did. And then the hustle play on the other end by TJ Haws.
Barcelo picks up the foul, his second.
Watch this block. And first of all, these are two big guys. Colby Lee running the lane out in the front of the break, and then Diabate getting back, and then TJ Haws hustling back on the other end to beat everybody back to defend for BYU on the other end. Impressive.
Nixon's in, Toulson's back in, Colby Lee comes out. Barcelo is out. As we near the 4-minute mark, Cougars by 18. White, good looking shot for two.
And White came over the top of the screen, and Trevin Nell, who's the defender, went under the screen, left him some room, and so he just rose up and knocked it down.
Haws, Toulson. Back to TJ, open for three more. He's got 8. It has been an impressive first half for Haws.
Well, and Terry Porter was getting on Adams a little bit on that, basically saying, why are you leaving him? You need to stay out and close on Haws. Can't give him a wide open three.
Rainbow three is good for Isaiah White.
Well, Isaiah White feeling it now. Back-to-back shots.
He's got 9 points. Happy to have survived the flu bug.
Yeah, he missed that last game, that win. Sat out with the flu, and they're glad to have him back, leading scorer.
Here's TJ. Mid-range, a little strong. 3 minutes to go. That's the Haws family shot, the mid-range jumper. Porter, one-handed floater. Nixon brings it down, hands it to TJ. 7 rebounds for Nixon. Now Dalton's got it, kick back Toulson. Jake in the lane, corner Nixon, open for three.
Well,
we mentioned BYU started hitting 9 of their first 11. They're back down to earth.
Well, and BYU spacing, really good spacing. Terry Porter talked to us about that today, about how good they do their spacing. And so when they get into the middle, their perimeter shooters space out well and call for the ball. Mark Pope will take that shot all day long too.
White, this three is off. And Harding hands it over to Haws. Mark Pope calls in the play. And they wait for TJ. Stolen away. Adams lays it in. And that's his first 2 of the half.
It's just great anticipation out of Adams and jump the passing lane, and boy, a much needed transition bucket. The Pilots have been a good transition team this year. BYU's done a good job of getting back and not giving up any transition in this one.
Back to 14. This is as close as the Pilots have been a long time. Nell up for three. Trevin Nell knocks in his 7th three of the year. It's now 7 of 25. The scouting report on Nell is he just needs playing time.
Well, and I got to tell you, JoJo Walker was in a good spot defensively. He was right up. He had closed out, straight hand up, right in the face of Trevin Nell. That's just a good shot.
Answer back is White. And another board for Nixon.
Nixon is having a tremendous half of basketball for BYU. He's getting everything done. Assists, makes, running the lane offensively, playing defense, getting rebounds.
He's near a double-double in the first half.
Yeah,
8 points.
He has been
8 boards.
phenomenal in this first half.
Final minute. Toulson. Beautiful pass from Haws. Back to 19. 7 for Jake tonight. Things just run differently when TJ's out there with the ball in his hands. No question about it. Adams looking for a lane. Backs up over Nixon. And Harding's got the board, and the Cougars will settle for the final shot of the half.
And Mark Pope just made the call, and he told them, this is the play I want, and I want it at 8.
Here we go. Under 5. Haas. The lob for Dalton Nixon. What a play! Halftime at the Marriott Center. Nixon with 10 points and 8 boards. And BYU up 51 to 30. Let's take another look.
Well, and that was a called play for Dalton Nixon, and that tells you what Mark Pope thinks about the way that guy played in the first half. He calls the final shot for his senior.
Is walking right up to Jerem Jordan. Jerem?
All right, Coach, a 51-point half. You start 24-2. What pleased you most?
Well, just the defensive end of the ball. You know, we got a little bit of fatigue. We got a little bit of foul trouble. It hurt us when Zach was out of the rotation defensively. But, you know, that's what these guys are trying to make their hallmark, is just try and guard and try and guard. The rookie Trevin got us in a little bit of trouble, but he responded well by making a shot. We got to guard the three-point line. We got to keep being committed to protecting the middle floor, and if we do that, we'll do well. We sure started out the game well that way.
You look a little frustrated up 21. You okay? Sorry? You look a little frustrated up 21. You all right?
We put our heart and souls in this game. These kids do. These young men, especially young men, and they're putting their heart and soul in this game, and so we're fighting for them.
Thanks, Mark.
Jerem, thank you. BYU's #1 in the WCC, averaging 10 three-pointers a game. St. Mary's held him to 6 on Thursday. Blaine, they've got 9 here in the first half.
They're shooting it, and they're sharing the basketball. That's why they're making shots.
51 to 30 at the break here on BYU TV. Halftime here in Provo, Utah. BYU leading Portland 51 to 30. Both these teams 1-1 in conference play. And the Cougars put together one of the best halves we've seen in a long time. Let's revisit our keys to the game. And these coaches have been doing it for so long now. Rarely are they off base.
Well, and the Pilots needed to play transition deep. BYU had 8 fast break points. And the problem was that those 8 came early when BYU hit them with that barrage right out of the locker room, and then get some rhythm threes, just 2 of 9. The Pilots have seemed to settle down. They're taking better shots in the last 8 minutes of the game, but they got to do a better job.
Coach Porter walking right up to Jerem. Jerem.
Hi, Coach. What was the message to your team at halftime?
Well, we got to play a lot harder and execute a lot better at the defensive end. To their credit, they got whatever they wanted at the defensive end. And offensively, early on, we turned it over way too many times. Allowed them to get into a great rhythm, get in transition, and so we got to do a better job of getting to their three-point shooters and then execute our possessions.
You went on a 21-9 run after the 24-2 deficit. What was the key during that stretch?
We competed. That was it. I mean, that's the basic line. I think the guys that we put in for that starting group, they didn't give us enough energy and start with the way we need them to start. Other guys came in and just played harder and really did some good things offensively and moved the ball.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Terry Porter, a competitor, 2-time NBA All-Star, still ranks 14th all-time in assists. Now we look at BYU.
Which is amazing. And now we look at BYU defensive boards. Remember, the Pilots had 3 offensive boards in the first 4 minutes, and then BYU held them just 1. So 4 opponent offensive rebounds. They did a pretty good job with that once they got past that first 4 minutes. And then defend the 3. BYU has found the shooters. I think BYU's defense overall was outstanding in that first half. I would check that as a mission accomplished for BYU. You know, Portland started, as Jarrett was talking to Terry, they started 0 for 8. In fact, they started 1 of 11. And then since they've gone 12 of 21. So they settled in. They're taking better shots. And he told us the same thing Mark Pope did. And they shoot it better when they compete on defense. And they get out and run. They get some transition buckets and they get in rhythm. Did a better job of that in the last 8 minutes of the half than they did to start the game and tried to get it closer. But BYU, they had 2 surges. They had a surge right out of the locker room where they just were on fire and playing with great intensity, had a little lull, and then they finished the half in a very good way in that last 4 minutes. Just 3 turnovers for BYU in that half.
Cougars are shooting 39.5% from the three-point line. That's number 7 in the country. And then in that first half, as we mentioned, they hit 64% from the three-point line. We are ready to go and underway here in the second half. San Diego's here on Thursday on BYU TV. That's at 9 o'clock Eastern time. Barcelo for 3, right out of the locker room, and he's strong on it. Rebound to White.
And you're okay with that. A good ball rotation, a wide open shot without a defender closing. If you miss that, you miss that, but you're okay as a coach because it's a good shot.
Portland will host Pacific on Thursday night. Adams, Tryon for 3.
And that's what Tryon can do. He's a matchup problem because he's got that great length at 6'11", just 210 pounds. He can go in, has good touch around the rim, but he's really comfortable out in the perimeter. So your 5 has to go out and guard him.
Tryon now with 10 points. It's Colby Lee working his way into the lane. Up with the left hand, a wild shot from Lee. Back we come with Adams.
And right now with Portland, they're playing 2 bigs on the floor, so Tryon's playing the 4 right now, and it's Dalton Nixon that's got to chase him out to the perimeter. He's capable of doing that.
In the corner, now stepping inside the arc, and Porter knocks down the 2. He's got 4 points.
And credit Tryon on that one. He caught the ball in deep, and he kicked the ball out, found the open player out on the outside of Malcolm Porter.
Give and go to Nixon, and Dalton now with a dozen.
And just a smart play by Nixon. Before the shot blocker could get over there, Kuba could get over, he got that one off quick off the glass. Very savvy.
Adams looking into Diabate, now up top to Tryon. Tryon's in some trouble. Hands it to Adams, beats the 5-second count. Now Adams over Nixon. And Adams at 5'7", drops it in, he's got 4.
And Adams with great quickness, and he understands how to create space for himself. And you have to. When you're out there playing at 5'7", you got to know all the angles and how to get it over big people.
Here's a foul. This will go against Portland. And it is Isaiah White. Our score box is presented by Brady Industries, a provider of commercial cleaning supplies and equipment. Brady Industries. Inbounds pass, ran perfectly and then defended perfectly.
Tryon came over late and got a piece of that one. A great effort at the end of that.
Porter in the lane, he's up wild with the right hand.
But it looks like he lost that on the way up. Came out of his grip.
Nixon left open for 3. In and out. Tryon hands it to Adams. And Adams flying in, and he flips it in. He's got 6.
Again, he understands the angles, gets it up on the glass, and Mark Pope talked to us about how good the pilots are. You miss a shot, if you let Adams get it in his hands and get out, he's just going to beat everybody down the floor with great quickness.
Haas finds Lee. Colby's in off the glass. Another assist for TJ. 9 points now for Colby Lee. Let's bring Jerem in. And this is Mr. Instagram, Chase Adams, right?
Yeah, 128,000 followers on Instagram. Chicago guy, went to Link Prep a year after high school. He is an Instagram influencer, I dare say, but 128,000 followers. I asked Terry Porter, is he a better basketball player or Instagram follower? And he said, listen, everyone relates to the short guy. He's 5'7". No one relates to a 7-footer.
Indeed, he's played great here in the second half. Colby Lee up for 3. That one's strong. Toulson on the rebound.
Those are 50-50 kind of rebounds because they're so long, and credit BYU for getting that 50-50 ball.
Lee now 4 of 7 shooting the 3. Toulson slashes into the lane, has it swatted away by Tryon with 4 seconds on the shot clock. And Salius will check in. Nixon will come out. BYU will have to get one off quickly.
Well, and BYU struggling now inside Akuba and Tryon. Remember, you got a 6'11" guy at the 5 and a 6'11" guy at the 4. Tryon doing a good job there protecting the rim.
Barcelo spins away from the defense. Can't get it to go down. And the Pilots can finally get inside 14 with a conversion here. Diabate working on Lee, loses it, and it's off of Lee, out of bounds. It'll belong to the Pilots when we come back. Timeout, 15:45 to go. 55-41 Cougars on BYU TV.
Intermountain Healthcare, healing for life. Mountain America Credit Union, guiding you forward. And by Les Olson Company, your office technology partner.
55-41 BYU in the lead. We touched on this a moment ago, but this deserves some attention. Diabate is 6'9" junior out of Mali. He speaks 5 languages. He's lived in France, the Canary Islands, Japan, and now the U.S., but he speaks Bambara, that's his native tongue, English, French, Spanish, and Japanese. You got to find 5 of BYU's return missionaries to come up with 5 languages. He's got them all right there.
I'm trying to think. I'm certain BYU has somebody that speaks French out there. I don't know about the others. Maybe somebody that speaks Japanese.
Good-looking move coming out of the break by Farabee. He's got 4 points, and it's a 12-point game.
Well, I like the intensity. Terry Porter told Jerem they came back because they competed. They didn't compete in that first 4 minutes, and they certainly have competed at a much higher level of intensity here to start this second half.
Sellius now with 8 points.
Now, Terry Porter was furious with the lack of help defense on that last one.
Porter cleans up his own miss. And Malcolm now with 8 points. Here's TJ. Hands it over to Sellius. Marcelo back to Lee. Open for 3. Kobe now 0 for 2 from distance tonight. Adams on the miss.
Well, and Terry Porter immediately said too quick. Nobody underneath to rebound.
Sellius for 3, and that's the 11th assist of the game for TJ Haws.
And Mark Pope didn't say too quick to Sellius because that was, the ball went all the way down the side, and that was a rotation back out. Sellius says the trailer was set on that three-point line in a great shooting position.
Down low with contact. And a good move by Diabate. He'll go to the line. And a chance at a three-point play as Lee picks up his first.
See the drive down the side by TJ Haws. And then here's the foul on the other end is Colby Lee getting that forearm of Diabate. The first basket in this game for Diabate.
Sellius is 4 of 5 from the field. And TJ Haws a career high on assists here tonight with 11. Came in needing 5 to pass his dad at number 6 all-time at BYU. And he's got 11 so far.
And that tops, we were talking about that Weber State
What
game
does that message send to Pops? Not only you didn't get 1.
No, hey, Dad.
He just blew right past him.
Dad, I'm not even thinking. Now you're in my rearview mirror.
There's Marty and Tiffany.
And I'm staring Jimmer down. That's what he's saying.
Jimmer's next on that list. Brother Tyler's on top of the all-time scoring list. And both the boys moved past their dad on that list some time ago. You always want your kids to be better than you, right?
Oh, yeah.
Here's Haws for 3. Sellius tips it up, keeps it alive, and brought down by Akuba. Tryon driving on Sellius.
Wow.
Good looking dish, and Akuba off the glass and in for his 6th.
In this second half, you've seen Tryon's skill set. You know, at a 6'11", he can handle the basketball. He's got good vision, setting up his guy as the other big out on the floor.
It was once 21-2. It's now a 10-point game.
Well, and the Pilots going to play just a little bit of zone here.
How about that? Nixon, he was blocked, then Sellius put it up, and then Nixon stayed there for the rebound. He's got a double-double now, 14 points and 10 boards for Dalton Nixon.
And one of the troubles when you're playing zone, like the Pilots were there, and they don't play it all the time, there's sometimes a struggle to clean the defensive glass. They rotated over on the penetration, nobody on the weak side to block out, and Nixon's able to so even though there's a block there, and then the reaction to Seljaas allows Nixon to get another putback. So sometimes difficult to rebound out of his own.
Dalton just picked up his second foul. Offensive board for the Pilots. And Walker hands it over to Adams. Now they attack the left side. Nixon's got his hand full at 6'7", dealing with Diabate or Akuba, and he's holding his own tonight. And he's fouled on the rebound. The reach-in will go against Quincy Farabee, a junior out of San Diego. That's his first.
Well, and Farabee, he looked over at Coach Porter and said, "That's on me." But Coach Porter says, "No, you're all right," because he knows that's an aggressive foul. Just trying to get to the basketball.
12-point Cougar lead. And a career night on the glass for Dalton Nixon with 11 as Harewood checks in, and the speedy Chase Adams will come out for the moment. So career nights tonight from Hawes and Nixon. Cougars stepping it up with the absence of Yoli Childs.
And the Pilots, again, they're in that zone. And the key to zone is if you can get inside the zone, internal, like they do there, and then kick it to the outside. There's always going to be somebody open opposite side. That time, wide open for Harding, but couldn't knock it down.
Tryon at 6'11" on the rebound. Now he's got it. Matched up with Dalton.
A battle down low.
Nice move with the left hand is Theo Akuba, and he's got 8 points, and it's a 10-point game again.
And before the ball came in, Akuba and Seljaas just battling for that low block. Akuba winning that battle that time.
Haas left open, and the rebound to Akuba. Avoided the turnover, and here come the Pilots. Farabee, Portland playing with a lot more confidence. Walker buries the three. And Mark Pope wants a timeout. It is a 7-point game. 5 points for JoJo Walker. 11:22 to go. 62-55. BYU hanging on to the lead. Sports History Showcase is brought to you by the BYU Store, official outfitter of BYU fans everywhere. Back to Thursday night, TJ Haas with the dunk to force overtime, tied at 77. This was the end of regulation, a block by Dalton Nixon, and then the missed shot. And now the final offering by BYU in OT, trying to tie it. TJ carrying the team on his back in that second half in OT, but they can't get it done. And the Cougars lose it by 3. Moments ago in Moraga, Santa Clara hit a shot at the buzzer to beat the Gales. And so we update the standings. St. Mary's now 2-2. Losses to Santa Clara and Pacific. Who would have thought of that?
That's just craziness in the league. And everybody's talking about more talent in the league through the mid and back end of this league this season. And I'm telling you, Santa Clara is a dangerous team. Pacific is a very athletic and dangerous team this year. Now, San Francisco, when they're shooting it, that can play well. Hey, these Pilots gave Gonzaga all they could handle in that one and then beat San Francisco.
Seljaas for 3. Back to a 10-point lead and 14 points for Seljaas.
Before that shot in this half, the Pilots shooting 69% and BYU just 26. And that'll up that percentage just a little bit. But BYU, if they want to extend this lead again, they've got to play the kind of defense they did in the first half of this game. Tryon,
reach-in foul on Seljaas, and that will send Tryon to the line. And that's where he'll be when we come back. Zach Seljaas having a day. 14 points for Zach. Cougars by 10. 10:47 to play here in the second half on BYU TV.
We show how. Brady Industries, honestly better. And by the BYU Store, official outfitter of BYU fans everywhere.
Zach Seljaas now 4 of 4 from the three-point line for BYU tonight. Cougars lead it by 10. Seljaas just picked up the foul, and that's going to send Tryon to the line. He will shoot 2.
And for Jacob Tryon, he's got 11 points now in the ballgame, along with 6 rebounds. But the most impressive thing is the big guy has 8 assists in this ballgame. We watch him with the ball in his hands, facing up at 6'11", and driving and dishing in this ballgame. He's been really good here in the second half. 12 points now for Jacob Tryon, along with 8 assists.
He was not fazed by the student section that's come up with some new ideas since the Christmas break.
All kinds of craziness up there.
And the lead back to 8. TJ on the bench for the moment. The hot hand is Seljaas.
Well, and the Pilots, they've gone with this zone. They've stuck with the zone for a good portion of this second half. And BYU's got a little stagnant with their offense against this zone.
And Haas right back in the game, and Harding.
Against the zone, you've got to move the ball quickly and get that zone moving. And when you see a seam, you attack it, or you throw it into the inside, have guys flash. Once you get into the middle, they've got to collapse, and then you can kick the basketball.
Walker. Farabee working on TJ. This is Walker over Seljaas. Barcelo with a rebound. Haas back to Barcelo. A lane opens up, takes it in.
Wow, right up and over the top of Akuba that time. That was a tough make by Alex Barcelo.
He's got 6 tonight, had 7 Thursday at St. Mary's. And JoJo Walker's pulled up lane.
Man, he has played really well in the second half. And Walker's a big game player. Let's go back and look. In transition, he took it right at the shot blocker and found a way to get it on the glass.
See if we can see on the replay when Walker went down. He was on his knee when the official stopped play, and he will head to the bench with a grimace on his face.
Well, he in that San Francisco win the other night.
Something about his chest.
He had 19 points, 6 assists, just 1 turnover. Let's take a look. I don't know if Seljaas, when he was trying to close out, if his elbow caught him in the chest or what, but he went down hard. Certainly wasn't, you didn't throw an elbow or do anything intentionally.
Turnover, Akuba, and BYU gets the ball back up by 10. 9.5 minutes to play here at the Marriott Center. Barcelo back to Seljaas. Here's Zach. Now Toulson. TJ into the lane, up for 2.
Man, that was another tough shot. We saw one by Barcelo over the shot blockers. This little floater, 10 points now and 12 assists.
2 double-doubles
for
tonight.
TJ Haas. That's a tough way to get a double-double right there.
Nixon has one and Haas has one. Harewood looking for 3. That one's strong. Out to Toulson. 8:40 to go. Haas for 3. Back of the iron. Back we come with Farabee. Akuba battling with Colby Lee. Left hand, fight for it, and Lee comes out with it. They're letting him bang down there.
Yeah, Terry Porter talking officially, he was saying, hey, 2 hands, both hands in the back, Colby Lee in the back of Akuba. And I don't disagree with Terry Porter on that one, but they don't call it. They let him play physical down there. And then what does Jake Toulson do? He comes down and knocks down a 3-point jump shot on the other end.
8:08 to go. 10 points for Toulson. 72-57 Cougars here on BYU TV. TJ Haas putting on a show tonight with a dozen assists.
that crossover, drawing the defense, and then finding Colby Lee on that one. And then, you know, just a transition assist here. And TJ Haas's vision so good, transition, finding Connor Harding on the wing there, driving and dishing to Harding again in the corner. And then, this was just to end the half. A little pick and roll, alley-oop to Dalton Nixon, drawn up out of the timeout.
All time now in assists. He's moved ahead of his dad, Marty, tonight at number 6. And he's saying, Jimmer Fredette, I'm coming for you. I need 5 more. You might get him tonight.
Hey, I was going to say, but you wouldn't even think he had a chance to even come close to Jimmer tonight. But he's tracking him right now. He's tracking him.
He needs 3 more steals to move into the top 10 all-time at BYU. Tonight he moved up to number 14 in scoring. Boy, when it's all said and done at the end of this season, he could be top 10 in about 5 categories.
Well, BYU right now with 5 guys in double figures in this ballgame, or 4 guys in double figures, and then Colby Lee with 9. And for the Pilots, when they had the ball in Tryon's hands, when the ball was going through him, good things were happening.
And they go through him on this possession. Can't get the roll. Here comes TJ at full speed.
Portland back in that 2-3 zone.
Marcelo. Celius. He'll swing it around the corner. Here's Toulson. 7.5 minutes to go. Barcelo for 3. Fight for the board. It is Celius. And he's got a sweet 16 tonight.
Celius with his 5th board, 16th point in the ball game. And remember, his minutes were limited in that first half because of fouls, and he was rebounding the ball really well in that first half.
Had 7 points and 5 boards in 34 minutes Thursday at St. Mary's. Tryon up for 3, and Haas on the rebound.
And that one, they were running the offense through Tryon. That one, a forced 3. Had a guy in his face, 3 feet behind the 3-point line, and tried to shoot it over the top, and he's going to come out now.
Tryon looks exhausted as he picks up the reach foul, and he heads out with his 3rd. Jerem.
JoJo Walker was hit in the ribs with an elbow. He has since just checked in, so he's okay. And in the last BYU huddle, Mark Pope emphasized valuing possession given how tightly the game had turned here in the second half, guys.
Thanks, Jerem. Here's Celius again. Right place, right time. He's got 18.
Well, and Akuba erased the first shot, but Celius was right there to collect it, collect the block, and put it back.
Pilots cut it to 8. BYU on an 11-0 run. And Farabee drops in the 2-pointer. 76-59. 6 points for Farabee. Here's TJ to answer for 3. Haas with 13. 13 points, 12 assists. BYU's lead is back to 20. Akuba. And a foul on Nixon. That battle for position down low. As we take another look at TJ. Inside out again, Blaine. And there it goes.
And this just isn't inside out play. This is inside. It's down on the low left block, and that ball is kicked all the way opposite to the wing at the 3-point line. BYU doing a great job of finding the open shooters.
Porter up with the right hand. Rebound Toulson. In the corner, Celius. Back to Haas. Now Jake thought about it. Celius thinks about it and takes it. Bang! He's got 5 for 5 tonight and 21 points. Boy, he's closing in. He scored 25 way back in 2015 against Central Michigan for his career high, and he's knocking on the door tonight and with his biggest offensive night of the season.
BYU, since that last timeout, but the ball's been a lot less sticky, not staying in one guy's hands. They're moving the ball, getting better shots, and knocking him down. And they extend that lead because of it.
TJ hit with the foul as Porter slashed to the basket.
What the ball movement on this one against that zone, just so good. And TJ Haas, when he's shooting the way he is, he threatens, he puts that ball in shooting position and pumps it. Guys come flying out, and then he finds the open shooter in the corner.
And you have to do that. Haas has hit 3 threes tonight, which moves him past Chase Fisher at number 4 all time at BYU. So any kind of pump at all, you got to go out there.
You got to go close.
He's hit too many.
And what's hard right now is that on the floor for BYU, even Kobe Lee at the 5 is a threat to shoot a 3. It's hard to zone a team that has 5 guys that can stretch the floor and shoot 3s.
10 points for Malcolm Porter. 82-61. Barcelo in the corner. Kobe Lee. A little high for Kobe, and he couldn't grab it, but it's knocked out of bounds off of Portland. And so BYU keeps the possession with 16 seconds on the shot clock. Shout out to Fred Warner today, former Cougar, advancing to the NFC Championship with the 49ers. We wish Andy Reid and company luck tomorrow with the Chiefs. Kobe Lee up for 2, and now Lee with 11.
Well, another good assist for BYU on that play. And the Pilots haven't been patient enough offensively. Again, the low block battle between Kobe Lee and Akuba.
This one goes against Kobe, his second.
But they haven't been patient enough. They force some shots up. They can't be afraid to make the extra pass or the extra 2 passes to get a better look. Contested shots have been the story in the last 4 minutes for the Pilots.
In and out of the hands of JoJo Walker, and the 9th turnover of the night for the Pilots. 4:53 to go. This has been a good answer for BYU after their big lead was whittled down to 8. And here's Salyas. Another whistle, and Zach gets his 4th.
Moving away from the ball, moving on the screen. And they get him for an offensive foul, a block.
Zach's got 21 points and 5 of 5 from the 3-point line. Here's a 3 up, way off the mark by White. Barcelo. He's fouled by White, and he'll go to the line. White frustrated with his shot, and then frustrated with the foul, claiming he got all ball. But there was a collision with the bodies, and that's going to send Barcelo to the line.
That one is one of the ones where you say the official, but I got all ball, and he goes, yeah, but you down low.
You got the ribs, the thigh.
You got him with the body for certain.
Barcelo hits the free throw. BYU has an interesting tradition at the end of shoot-arounds, which we are invited to attend with most of these teams. The last 5 minutes as Salyas goes out and hear the thunderous roar. At the free throw line, there has to be complete silence in the gym. And that's where they hone in on these free throws. And BYU's been a pretty good free throw shooting team on the season. 8 points now for Barcelo. Jaron.
That includes us. We have to be quiet as well during that. Luckily,
Yeah.
I was told to be quiet. I didn't chew some food loudly or something. But regarding Zach Salyas, this is the most points he's scored since his freshman year when he scored 25. So this is a coming out party for him. He's been asked to be a very different guy than that guy his freshman year. He was a catch and shoot guy. Now he's playing the 4. He's defending bigs. He's asked to set a lot of screens. His evolution's been impressive. And almost more impressive has been his hair evolution. It's a different haircut every year. And he looks like H.I. McDonough, Nicolas Cage's character from Raising Arizona. I swear that's his doppelganger.
Well, it's working for him tonight. Walker gets his second foul.
Oh, my goodness, T.J. Haws.
13 points for Lee, 13 assists for Haws.
That assist is just a perfect example where he just understands where's the help coming from. I'm getting it to my guy. And it's not just getting it to your guy, it's getting it to them in a perfect spot so that they can score with ease.
14 assists for Haws.
Malcolm Porter
with 12 now.
Going one-on-one with a tough shot in the middle of the key and getting it done.
Well, with Yoli out, it's up to Haws and Toulson to kind of settle everybody down. And they have responded tonight. Barcelo trying to get there through the back door.
That was another assist opportunity.
And now Harding with the foul as Porter gets the contact. He'll be at the free throw line when we come back. Second foul on Connor Harding. 3:16 to go. 88-63 Cougars on BYU TV.
BYU basketball on BYU TV is brought to you by Intermountain Healthcare, healing for life. Mountain America Credit Union, guiding you forward. And by Les Olson Company, your office technology partner.
Welcome back to the campus of Brigham Young University. 3:16 to go. The Cougars leading 88-63. Earlier today, Blaine, we had a chance to sit down with Yoli Childs and talk about his finger and his recovery and the plan there. And he said that it happened on Tuesday. He was trying to fight through a screen. He said he looked down and he thought he broke his hand. And he went over to the trainer and said, I think I broke my hand. They went to the doctor. They x-rayed it. It was a dislocation, broke the skin. But he said it is a miracle that there was no broken bones. And Yoli says, you know what, rather than dwell on missing games like this, I'm focused on how grateful I am that it's going to be fine and I can get back. But it might be a little bit.
Yeah, the skin has to heal up. They had to suture it closed, and that's the big thing there. You know, he told us there were no bone fragments, ligaments were fine, and so, you know, inside of that skin, of that wound, he's in good shape. He's just going to have some swelling. He's got to get over that. We saw him moving it earlier when we were shooting a picture of him on the sideline. Had the splint off, and it was moving that finger. So
his attitude was so impressive.
Yeah, phenomenal.
Coming out of a setback. Remember, he missed the first 9 games. The NCAA suspended him. Barcelo bangs in a 3. So he misses those games, comes back. He's literally on fire. And then before the biggest league game of the year, Thursday, he sustains that injury. And I'll tell you what, he's no longer the young boy Yoli that showed up as a freshman. He's a man now and handling this setback remarkably.
Oh, good defense on the ball that time, and then the steal. Great defense rewarded that time with a steal.
Barcelo swatted by Akuba. He says, get that out of here.
Akuba's head was up as high as the rim on that one. That was craziness.
Nice exchange, and then a foul called on Toulson.
Watch the steal, and Hawes, Adams had tried to take the ball off the dribble, and Hawes did a phenomenal job of staying in front of him, and he backed off and then stole the ball. And here's on the other end, the great effort by Akuba to block that. And Barcelo go to the bench now. Toulson's still in the game. By the way, BYU's 5 starters are all in double figures now. Toulson is 2 assists away from a double-double. So you've already got Dalton Nixon with 14 points and 11 boards. You've got TJ Hawes with 13 points and 14 boards.
You could have 3 double-doubles.
Nobody's making Toulson aware of it, I'm sure, because it doesn't really matter. But I can't remember the last time I saw a team with 3 guys with a double-double, and 2 of those guys a double-double, including assists.
28 assists, season high for BYU tonight. Malcolm Porter now with a season high, 16 points for the Pilots. Nell back to Hawes. Head fake, steps inside the arc, gives it to Harding. Now it's Toulson. Off the glass and in. And Jake with a dozen. About 4 open shots on that exchange, and they finished with one right at the rim.
Kept giving it up until they got a better shot.
1:40 to go. We will be here next Thursday night, 9 Eastern time, for BYU and San Diego on BYU TV. Here's Hawes with a little head.
Little pump fake, and that's how this thing started. And then the ball is just moving around the horn, drive and dish, drive and kick. And finally, Toulson finds a seam in the defense and lays it off the glass.
Hawes and Toulson are coming out. It has been a spectacular day for the 2 senior guards. And the crowd gives them a salute.
You mentioned the 28 assists. 14 for Hawes and 8 for Toulson. So 22 of them come from those 2 guys.
And on the putback, Akuba is going to go to the line. Well, think about it. Those 2 guys were the lead scorers Thursday, but they combined to miss 23 shots.
Right.
So if anyone were to feel somewhat responsible, it would be your 2 star players, because they shot the most and missed the most. Tonight they come in, high percentage shooting, they get everybody involved and deliver all those assists.
Just phenomenal effort out of both of them.
Yeah, what a
around.
response.
And Seljaas was phenomenal, and Nixon was phenomenal in this game.
Blaze Neal into the game along with Evan Troy. Troy has it as we arrive at a minute. There's the sharpshooter, bounces out. Trevin looking for his second 3 of the night. And the Pilots turn it over. Looking to shoot before they got it as Mon will check in for BYU. And that's going to bring Harding out. Pearson's going to check in, and that should bring Colby Lee out. BYU just 5 turnovers tonight and a season high in assists. Jerem, you look like you have something you're ready to say.
I'm ready. I'm always ready to say something. In the final 45 seconds here, Terry Porter went to Wisconsin-Stevens Point, yet was a first-round draft pick. He competed in the USA Olympic team trials. I didn't know this. That team was pretty good with Ewing and Jordan and Perkins and Chris Mullen. Terry Porter got the chicken pox mid-camp. And Bobby Knight liked him so much, he let him come back and try out. He got into the top 20 and won for your boy Blaze Neal. Porter was cut, but so were Charles Barkley and John Stockton. So he fought through the chicken pox and almost made the team.
How about that? And look at this from Neal.
John Stockton and Charles Barkley were cut. I love that note.
Hey, Terry told us he didn't even play guard until he got in the NBA. He played center and small forward.
He said I was at NIAI, and you know, hey, if you're my size, you're gonna have to play some of the big, play against some of the bigs, and so.
Well, his guys will regroup, and the rematch is February 6th in Portland. Well, the difference was BYU's 21-2 start. Hit 9 of those first 11 shots. The closest the Pilots could get was 8, and it took a fight just to get there.
Well, and credit the Pilots for battling and getting it back to 8, but it takes a lot of effort to do that. And then BYU ratcheted back up the defensive intensity. They started to be more selective with their shots and get better shots, and then they extended the lead back out, and then the Pilots just ran out of gas.
Cougars happy to have the student body back in session and back at the Marriott Center, and they've come out in force here tonight. And we will see them again next Thursday. St. Mary's and Gonzaga will come in here in February, and there'll be some huge games ahead. 96-70, the Cougars are going to win it. They'll go to 13-5, 2-1 in the WCC. The Pilots